We often talk about the Alongsiders movement as like a wave of God that is rising up. And for those of us who are leaders in the Alongsiders movement, it is like we are riding that wave. And sometimes it's scary. We're high up, we're out of our depths. We don't know what God is doing. But it's better to be riding the wave of God than to be on the beach looking the other way or drowning under the wave. And as we have prayed about where this wave is going, we sense that God is calling us to grow as a movement. Living things grow. Things that don't grow are dying, but God is calling us to grow. And in particular, as we have prayed amongst the leaders, and many of you have been a part of this discernment time, we are sensing that God is calling us to grow as a movement in a particular way. At the moment, there are about 75 movement coordinators, men and women, that God has called to pioneer Alongsiders movements in 30 countries around the world. There's 75 of you that God has called and chosen and anointed to be leaders in this movement. But over the next 5 years, we believe that God is going to grow that number. You are the originals, the original 75. But as we've been praying, God has shown us the story of Gideon. And we know the story of Gideon from the book of Judges. God asked Gideon to particularly set aside a number of leaders. It wasn't a massive number. He started with thousands, started with tens of thousands, but God kept saying, no, that's not the number that I have for you. And he kept bringing that number down until Gideon had 300 men, 300 chosen leaders who were set apart and called to be leaders in the movement that Gideon was building for the transformation and the salvation of that nation. And just as Gideon was called towards 300, we believe God is going to take us not just from the initial 75 of you who are leaders in this movement now, but towards 300. And so who will those 300 be? We know that they will be men and women who are called and set apart, just like those leaders that Gideon had chosen by God. They will be called and set apart to lead new movements in Alongsiders. Each of you, the original 75, are leading a discipleship movement, an Alongsiders movement. You are the movement coordinators. And as we grow towards the number of 300, where will those men and women come from? We believe that they will come from you, that they will be people that you know and trust. As you spread the vision, as you share the vision with people that you know and trust, many of those people will catch the vision and will be those who are chosen and anointed by God to be part of that 300. I want to thank you for being a part of the initial wave, but a bigger wave is coming, a wave that is going to transform the lives of Alongsiders, their little brothers and sisters, their churches, their communities, and indeed entire nations across the world through what God is doing. He doesn't need 32,000, he told Gideon. He doesn't need 20,000. He doesn't need 10,000. He just needs 300 who have been chosen, selected by God, and he will anoint them. So I want to invite you to pray, but pray with your eyes open. Pray with your eyes open to see the men and women that God is calling to become a part of the Alongsiders movement, to pioneer new movements, new Alongsiders movements in your country, perhaps in neighboring countries or in different places around the world. I'm excited for what God is doing. I'm excited for the 300. I believe God is going to change the world through those 300. and a new wave is coming. So let's get up on the wave. Let's ride that wave and be part of what God is doing in the world. Thank you.